Kind of. So I'd go there the day before, just do big outlines of flowers. They would come in, fill the color in, and then the next day I'd come back and just do black outlining.
Okay.
So it'd be a 3-day, start to finish.
Yeah, in the,
That'd be really cute.
what I sent to you was like day 1. This is, I'm sorry, this is day 2. So day 2, this is, you know, everything that would be done. And then day 3, what would be done. And then this is the final sealing of the wall and everything.
Is that for graffiti or just to
Yeah.
last longer for peeling?
Once it's painted, a bit of both. It's UV protection, and there's also a coating of, it's called World's Best Graffiti Coating.
Okay.
And that's basically, it's not official coating, so if anyone sprays it,
You could
you can spray
wash
it
it.
off.
Got it. Very good. So I think when I read the information, you're working in Percy is one of the places, and what was the other location?
You guys would be my second.
There was
Right now,
that,
yeah,
okay,
I'm
Percy.
brand new to this.
And in Percy, where were you picking an area up there? Did you pick something out yet?
Yeah, actually, let me, not sure if I do or not, but it's, if you've ever been to the Borough Building, right behind that, there's a giant, 125-foot retaining wall,
Oh,
right
okay,
by the parking lot.
okay.
So we're working on that now.
Where'd the idea come from?
Linda Reed, the events coordinator of Percy, wanted to do a mural there for a long time. And I've, oh, there you go, yeah. And I've been involved in other murals in Percy and just kind of the art world in Percy. And so she reached out to me during like a solo show I had at one of the galleries there. So we got talking about kind of what would be a good community mural that we could do. And the idea kind of spawned from that.
So this is your organization?
It is, yeah.
Or is it, okay.
Yeah, this is just
Very
over
nice.
me.
So what would be another area that we can think of if the Tony Goes building could not be used to do this?
Are you keeping it in the park area or are you moving outside the park?
I'd like to keep it as close to the park as we possibly can. Yeah. The only other thing I can think of is where the decking is, across from the actor's net,
It's coming down.
the whole decking, that
It's
whole
gonna
thing.
come down.
It's gotta come down.
All right.
It's all unusable.
Yeah,
Oh,
they,
wow. The whole
after
thing's
they moved,
unusable?
yeah, after they moved everything over to the other side, they.
All that work.
The engineering
Yeah.
side.
Can't
All
use it
that
anyway.
work and they can't use
Yep.
it.
The foundation itself is not
It's
in
crumbling.
good shape, so it's gotta be taken all the way down. We're hoping to keep some of that, just for the aesthetics part of it.
The whole decking part,
Everything.
Well, the
that
decking,
whole building?
right to the
Yeah.
ground, the building and the decking itself, I mean, you really shouldn't be walking up there. It was supposed to be roped up because
There's big holes in it. You
You'll
put your
go
foot
right
right
through
through it.
Right, when we
Yeah.
were up
We
there,
were up
we
there
were doing the
walking.
actor's net.
Yeah, we went
They
through.
literally took the tops of concrete tables and put them over the holes.
Yeah, for good. And it's one of those-
Something nice and heavy when you got a rotting.
I think
Well,
they
it was to
put
keep
those
people from
stuff-
Well,
falling.
yeah, but I'm just
Yeah.
saying, eventually it's gonna.
Oh,
So
yeah,
that,
it's
that
bad.
definitely is coming down, so that wouldn't be.
Because I thought that would be a nice tie-in with what Jack did with the water tower.
Right,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, we've talked about this in the Arts and Entertainment Committee as well, doing some public things, and we looked at some of the, like the Route 1 on the Moreau Avenue side of the street.
Oh, that'd be nice,
So
yeah.
you've
That's a
got
big
some other
spot.
places, they're not
Yeah,
new, it's a great spot.
Yeah.
It's
Give
not,
us something to look at
uh,
too, instead of the wall.
it's not as public as this probably,
Yeah.
but
Right,
but it's a
Yeah,
really cool spot, maybe
It is.
gives people a reason to go to that
Mhm.
area.
that's true.
And, what else you have down in that area? Maybe on the,
And if they could do under the
Delmore
freeway bridge,
side,
that would be
under the
awesome.
bridge,
They had something on both sides of
Under
the
the
freeway.
what?
that'd be really cool.
Yeah,
it's a shame
that would be
there
really
was
nice.
a flat area near our.
On
near our
Delmore,
dike.
sort of, so you might be going past it to get to the dog park if you're coming down Delmore, under the bridge.
Past the Dairy
There's a
Queen.
big area there
Oh.
too.
The train bridge?
Well, they're almost next to each other.
Freeway
Yeah.
bridge.
Yeah.
I think Scott mentioned underneath there, but the only thing with that, you have to really be careful down there because they're always dumping stuff off the truck as you're
Oh,
down there in that area. I wouldn't stay down there too much to,
Yeah, big pieces of metal fall off
unless you
those
did like a
tracks.
weekend where you were a lot less traffic or something,
Yeah.
that's
We'd
not.
have to put some protective scaffolding up.
Yeah, because it's not it's a tight area.
Well,
Yeah.
tell you, I don't know how high he wants to go, but when Jack did the water tower, he could only go up 24 feet. it's a liability issue.
Oh, sure.
Where's the fish, I'm sorry?
Yeah, the fish, yeah, water tower.
Her husband did that.
Who did?
Her husband.
Did you? Oh,
I mean, Coney Joe's is a really, really cool idea, especially with the fact that we are gonna be putting the playground equipment, probably there is what it's looking to be.
Yeah, I would like it there.
That's where I would love it.
Yeah, if
I
we
think it would
saving that building, that's.
And it's
I like it.
bright and it's close enough to the street where people could see it.
It's an
driving by.
appropriate spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, just in taking pictures of the soffits across the top, there's, that, part of that was rotted out, and has to be replaced, that might not be a big deal. I don't know about the roofing on that,
They patched it up for now.
did they?
And they patched up the hole in the cinder block where that was starting to fail, but that's at the base.
Yeah,
So
the windows
I
are
think
just,
the next time Gilmore's down here, we have them
take a look at
take a
it.
look at it and
So-
see if it's worth keeping or not. And if it's worth keeping, then we can,
Because it's cinder block, so it's just, it's everything else. It would be the windows who have to be replaced, it's not a really big thing. I was inside of it when it was open, and they have a little kitchen area in there,
Yeah.
and plumbing and stuff, so it'd be a shame to take it down if we could utilize the
Right.
actual building,
That's
so.
not- that's the air
But we'll
conditioning.
look into it, that's a definite.
Yeah, because
So just-
now that it has the overhang with the benches and.
Yeah, and
the
that's a nice
for the
seating
picnic,
area, yeah.
You know, and I do see people, you know, down there eating.
Sure, or hanging out even.
Yeah.
So just to frame the financial piece, and I'm not holding you to this, but it's a small building, what would you anticipate the fundraising would have to look like?
so based off the estimates for the Percy one, it comes to almost exactly $4 a square foot.
Okay?
So I'd maybe bump that to 5 just to give us some wiggle room.
Mhm.
But I spoke with Scott and he was saying that borough probably wouldn't be able to fund that. We'd have to go through fundraising and things like that. So,
Yep.
okay.
We're good at
So,
that,
so
yeah.
how many square feet would you estimate on this thing?
Let me, can I get back to you on that? I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get a
You
concept.
almost
If
count
yeah.
the blocks on
We're
the
talking,
building.
if we're
That's what I
talking,
was
you know, $500, we're talking $5,000.
I think they're 12
Because-
inches, actually.
Because the first one on your list, Marsville Yardley Area Rotary Club, I happen to know them.
Just a little bit.
I may happen to know a couple people in that club.
So these are all people you are looking for sponsorship from, or they've committed to a sponsorship?
No, I think I took it from the.
All the businesses?
Business
that-
association.
I got it,
Okay.
okay.
There's probably more that you can add, definitely.
Right.
I got you.
Square footage for that is 775 feet.
At about $5 a square foot.
Say roughly 100.
Should come to about 3,000.
Okay.
When would you be looking to do this project? When are you looking at the time-wise for the project?
Time-wise, I'm shooting for the summer, which I know.
Percy plus here?
Percy plus here, yeah.
Okay.
So I'm trying to get 4 towns done this summer, which I know is a pretty tight schedule.
Okay.
So you definitely have to get moving on the viability of the building itself.
Yeah, all good.
Yeah.
If not, find another one.
Yeah, and I'm assuming like if there's any wood that needs to be replaced, like trim or anything like that, that would need to be done before you came in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll have the,
Can't do that, maybe we could do the air conditioner unit out here.
Yeah.
Dress that up
Every
a
flower
little
counts.
bit.
Yeah, every flower.
Everything else.
Yeah, we could have the engineer take a look at it and see the condition of it.
Yeah.
And what would cost, what we gotta do.
You're talking about doing this national, which is really cool, but what are the 4 that what are the other 2 that you picked? And are you doing it sort of, you creating a line across the states, or?
No, that'd be really cool. At this stage, pretty much anyone that,
Yeah.
you know, sees the idea for what it is and really wants to get on board with it.
Sure.
So right now it's Percy. I might actually do 2 in Percy because there's another building that wants to really be involved.
Mm-hmm.
So it might be 2 in Percy and then you guys, if you're on board. And
Get
still
the
working
media
full.
out there, they'll get involved in it, and then there will be people probably coming
Yeah,
out.
Yeah.
Sounds like you have emotional buy-in.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You just gotta get funding in the place.
Yeah, what it would be.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's a great one for there.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of any other area. I love the way they had the, in Percy, they've got that whole wall, it's almost like a retaining wall that.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's
yeah,
perfect.
That they have, it's just a shame our dike doesn't have a plain
Flat
area
spot.
facing the river, you know?
Yeah.
Well, I
Go
was
by
just
your
thinking,
boat.
could you do it on the rock face?
You probably could.
Could you?
On the stone face on the riverside.
You wouldn't be able to do it with like kids and like.
No,
no,
That would be like
And then you gotta deal with floods.
We have to put little harnesses and hang them on the side.
Oh, jeez.
Back
Listen, I
up.
used to scale that thing as a kid up and
Well,
down a million
Scale
We'll
times.
it as
send
an
you
adult.
down there, Mike, with the brushes, yeah.
That's where all the fish were. That's where all the fish was. Just gotta watch the snakes.
Yeah.
I mean, we would definitely be able to get you the volunteers. I mean, I could see a lot of people
Oh, yeah, people would definitely.
Jump
jumping
all
on
over
board
this.
with this,
Yeah, I think that would be
absolutely.
an issue, I think it'd be kind of cool for them.
So let us find out the liability of the building.
Okay.
The Bible.
Actually, Scott just left, so I'll give him a call tomorrow to see if he can get the engineer down there to see how much work that building actually needs.
Yeah. Okay.
And if we can do it on that building, and if he says, yes, we can do it on that building,
To go.
then, I mean, I think we should at least give it a shot. I think it would make the park pop.
Yeah.
I think there would be a lot of people to get behind this, especially the kids and the Girl Scout troops and the Boy Scouts. They're always looking for
Yeah,
another project.
yes, especially with the fact that we're looking to put brand new equipment in there,
Right.
you know, so that's one of the spots.
What
where
about
we
the
want-
face of the stage?
Oh, I'm good with it. It'd be good.
What's it called around the
That back area.
Just concrete. It's just,
Around the bottom, we
yeah,
have,
just
That's
concrete.
not bad.
That's
hey,
true.
that's a cool idea.
That's the one with the music note.
Right, and on the backdrop,
Yeah.
The
yeah.
backdrop.
How high would you
It's
think?
probably
It's
about,
about
yeah, it's
this
about
high.
3
It's
feet.
maybe 3 feet.
Yeah.
I think it
I
might
mean,
be
I
a
can
little
sit
more
on
than
it,
Might be.
so it's
Yeah.
like 3 feet,
Got the
yeah.
ramp going up to, but you
Yeah.
can do it all along where.
The cement is, right?
Yeah.
Almost like
Behind
a
the ramp.
garden would be, right? It'd be,
Mhm.
if you did along the
Mhm.
walls, there
Yeah.
would be like a garden
Yeah,
effect.
front
around the
area.
sides.
That's
Something.
neat. That's a neat idea.
What if we could tie in
The two of them.
Yeah.
both of them?
Well, they'd be right within the same
Yeah.
vicinity.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're
close
both an
enough.
eye shot of each
The
other.
stage area would just need to be power washed.
It needs to be
But that would
done,
really.
but that would
But
be,
the foundation is good enough.
the foundation's great.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's 60
That's
years
a
old and
nice-
it's not going nowhere.
Yeah, nice
Just needs to be
blank
updated.
area.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, it'd always be like ground level flowers growing up in
Yep.
front
Yeah.
of the.
And the way the
stage
ramp
area.
goes up,
Yeah,
it
just
kind of goes small,
smaller,
large,
smaller,
and
yeah.
Yeah, that's a cool idea,
Yeah,
right
and
there.
then do it all the way around.
Mhm.
Now, the backdrop on that with the cement would be similar to this, where it would be just the cement would be painted, as far as like, let's say the
Yeah.
stage area, a blank backdrop pretty much, and then you would do your stenciling on top of that, is that pretty much like that?
Pretty much, yeah, so,
Does that look kind of nice?
yeah, the goal is gonna be kind of all the backgrounds be like a similar kind of neutral,
Green kinda
green,
neutral.
brown color, yeah.
Should be nice.
Yeah,
You
let's
would
do
want
it.
us to paint that before
Yeah.
you came to do this?
Yeah, so the
Yeah.
prep work would be cleaning, sealing,
Yeah.
putting that in base coat, and then
We'll
work
probably
on
get,
others.
yeah, we'd probably get volunteers to get in there.
I'm sure we could get anybody to paint
Yeah,
that.
paint it, get it ready.
Do the floor of the stage while we're at it too, same color.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I
Well,
think that's a
good.
neat idea, right?
And then you
I
can
think
just,
I
and then you can
missed it
seal
when I
it.
walked in. Do you put a coating over top of it when it's done then?
Yeah.
Yeah, graffiti proof
Yeah,
paint.
did you see, you have it, Justin? Yeah.
That's right, Justin already didn't check that out.
Yeah, it's
I
not,
don't
it's
know, I
not
didn't have
this.
that one now.
Yeah,
Yes,
no,
the-
she has some information we don't have.
Yeah, that's on the old one. So you guys have the .2 version of the,
I'm gonna have it, I'm gonna email this
It's
to,
high level.
yeah.
Virginia and
High
have
school,
it put in
so-
everybody's packet for Friday.
Tim, who would do the fundraising? Is that you? Is that us? Is
Um,
that both?
I'd be able to, give input and help, but I feel like it mostly has to be you guys. But I can help any way you need me to.
So like a GoFundMe type thing?
Could be,
You got
kind
sponsorship
of new to
as
the
an idea.
individual towns sponsoring it, but I would need to, yeah, we'd have to talk about this.
I might suggest you actually draft some sort of a letter
Okay,
Mhm.
as an
Explain what
organization
you
to
do.
explain what the project is.
okay,
That could go out to
to all these
people like
businesses.
this.
Okay.
I would add Toll Brothers to it as well,
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
Is it 12 businesses?
Toll
Brothers.
Brothers, yeah.
because they got deep
South
pockets.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Yeah, they get deep
They're
pockets.
tight, but they.
And also Tate and Lyle.
Take mine.
Yeah, Tate Lyle's another one too.
Tate and Lyle, they're itching,
And
Or
then you got a
something.
connection with them,
they're
help
itching
them.
for something with the community.
They got deep
They can
pockets.
only go over, they can only do so much money,
Mm.
so they can, but yeah, they're itching.
So it talks,
Yeah.
what,
Except for the Home
4,000
Depot,
for this, and then
They
the
may
other
donate
one,
paint.
you can.
Yeah,
it's
well,
like
they do it
10,000.
with nonprofit, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause the list you have, there's not a lot of deep pockets, and I can tell you that, because I'm on it.
I mean, we can
I would
talk
donate
to
privately.
Oh, yeah, certainly.
Dan over at Hot Rides.
Yeah.
Mid-Atlantic Printing, and they're not on here.
Mid-Atlantic, yeah.
Antio? Is
And
Antio
well,
on the list?
He took it from the MBA
Yeah.
list, so,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
there's a
But
lot,
there's a lot of
Yeah.
there's
people
a
that are
lot
on
of
that list.
opportunities, we could probably do a mailer, or have somebody go door to door and hand
Yeah.
off flyers, to try to put something
Put a
together.
push on it at National Night Out.
Sort of kind of a letter
Yeah.
that you can officially get to the
Letter
businesses.
brochure type thing.
Yeah,
Just
and that way
process.
we have something to present to the
Yeah,
businesses.
it'd be
We
really
can-
good if you sort of,
Yeah, I can do that, for sure.
I know you're at the beginning of this, but
Yeah.
it's something you're probably gonna wanna do anyway.
Okay, yeah.
As you grow this up.
Not that much.
I think it's
The
the
fun part
more,
right now is figuring out
yeah, more
what I
work
can
you
do.
figured out about it, I know.
That's for Annie.
Oh, okay, so those pages?
It's
Oh, it's on the back, oh.
With the graffiti coating, is there a warranty on that or a lifetime that's expected out of it?
They say lifetime guarantee on their website.
Okay.
With it is, the way it is though, is it's a sacrificial coating. So if someone were to spray paint it, we would have to spray it off and that coating would come off. And then you would have to reapply that.
Because I know if you go down the river a little bit, just past Dairy Queen, you'll see a huge retaining wall where Route 1 is, next to the Bridge Commission building, which had an anti-graffiti coating on it, and you can see it's just peeling off.
Really?
Yeah.
And you never got graffiti, right?
No, that was just,
Do you know what
Just did
brand
right
it is?
here.
I don't.
Okay.
So that's what I hate to see, and it's only been there less than 10 years.
Right.
So whatever kind of top coating they're putting on there has to make sure.
You want to make sure, yeah, just because they tell you it's a lifetime guarantee, don't market anything.
Yeah, so,
See if you can find some examples of stuff that was done 5 or 6 years ago.
yeah, I'll call some people that I used to see what they.
Mhm.
So we really don't have a lot of problems with graffiti down there.
We had it on Pennsylvania Avenue last week on the freeway bridge.
Did you?
Quite a bit, but they came Monday and took it on.
All right,
Tuesday.
so tomorrow I'll reach out to Scott, see about the liability for Tony Goes, and then if you wanna get started on the letter,
Alright.
and then email it to either Scott or myself.
Okay.
And then this way we can,
Do the legwork of getting it.
yeah,
to
do the
the
legwork for
businesses.
getting it.
Great, yeah.
For you.
And then you would obviously have to let us know, when the businesses get on board,
Yeah,
who are they
what
making
we're
the
doing,
funds to.
yeah, yeah. So like, once you kind of know who might be on board, that's
Mhm.
when I'll reach out to and just make a phone call.
Yeah, with your contact information. on
Yeah.
it.
Because they're gonna obviously wanna contact
See
you,
who's doing it,
you know what I mean, for the funding.
yeah. Okay.
Do you want the, do you want beautification to be the point person with him?
I
and the
think so,
manager? If
yeah,
we're gonna get this stuff out, to
Yeah.
contact beautification, our board,
yeah,
as well as him, to make sure that we're getting the same feedback.
We're on the same page,
yeah,
So Scott we'll make sure Scott gets it as well.
Yeah.
So we'll keep everybody in the loop.
yeah, and then this way we can update everyone weekly, because we send out, each council person gets a weekly packet.
Okay,
We
So
have
then
a,
this way they can, all of council knows what's going on.
okay.
we have a website we use for beautification when we're doing a project, put stuff up there, so we can put this up there. At the same time, we put whatever the flyer is that you want to put together, the information for it, we put up there.
Because you may get individual sponsors also.
Maybe 4 individual sponsors?
No, I'm
Or-
saying you may get
You may get just-
individuals
Oh,
that
okay,
want
right.
to,
Oh, yeah,
also
you
want to.
definitely will.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Okay.
so by putting it up there.
$50 here,
Yeah.
$100 there, yeah.
Yeah.
But several hundred people that follow that site, so we'll see if we can, yeah,
People
we
that
can
counts.
get it.
For
Okay.
sure.
because what I'll do is, I'll take what you sent me and I'll put it on the beautification page, so
Okay.
this way people see it.
And then we can all share it and
Yeah.
Yeah.
show
Yeah,
our
we'll share
friends
it
and
from
stuff.
there.
I can send that to you if you'd like as well. Top page or file.
Okay.
I'd be
Okay.
more
That'd be even
putting it
better.
up there until you find out whether.
Right.
Yeah, I'm gonna
building
talk to Scott
permit.
tomorrow.
Mhm.
Yeah. I'm gonna
You don't
talk
want
to
to
Scott
get people
tomorrow.
excited and then knock the idea down right away.
Yeah,
And then the
yeah,
building,
so,
next thing, the building's coming down.
Literally
Yeah.
not the idea.
Maybe we
Yeah.
can use the legacy one instead as, you know,
An
here's
example.
an example
Yeah.
of what
Yeah.
we're talking about.
right.
That way, until we know where it's gonna go.
Mm-hmm.
Because once I talk to Scott, I'll email the beautification committee and I'll include you
Okay.
and let you know what the engineering firm says, when they're gonna go out and everything like that, so I'll just keep everybody. And I'll make it so that when I reply, I'll reply all, and that'll be
You'll be
the
included in
continuing
that.
thread
All right, great.
that we'll have for this.
Cool.
So this way we're not bouncing back and forth to email.
Since you're doing a digital file anyway, any chance you can add the stage to this?
Yeah, I can. If somebody be able to email me some pictures of it,
Pictures.
I can do that, yeah.
Justin's really good at that.
Yes, he is.
And then we'll-
As long as it's in focus, I'm more for that.
So this information, whatever we're
Just
doing,
like
the
you go for
advisory
something.
committee goes to the
Too
whole
far away from the
council.
street.
So whatever we're getting will also be submitted to them in their package, so they're all gonna get the same thing.
What, your
so
Google
everybody will know.
Okay, well,
I really had it up.
Yeah.
He's good at his, pulling up his Google Street Views.
Yeah. He's our Google guy.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's very cute,
It's fun.
very cute, yes, it's
So
a nice
hopefully,
little summer project.
Within the
I was
next,
thinking, what about that wall in the Actors Night? They wanted to repaint anyway.
can't see it now, because the trailers are
Oh, there's storage
blocking it.
containers
That would have been a great
Eventually.
idea.
I would decide the storage containers,
That would have been a great
make them look a little nicer.
That's a possibility. There was talk about doing something there. They really wanted to have something that was more historic
They were
in,
talking like a map.
yeah, a map or,
Historical
you know,
map.
like a silhouette of
And now you
Robert
can even
Morris
see
or
the
something like
best
that.
of the 2017 flyers, banners.
Yeah.
It would be awesome to do the side of the Stockton building.
We were talking about that earlier, yeah.
Yeah,
That
that's
backside where it's all big flash.
No
Yeah.
faces Route 1, that would be
privately
awesome.
owned, that's a little more difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I think one of the things James was
It's gonna
talking
finish the
about,
building
there's some
first.
cities who will actually
Yeah.
do historical
Know what you're working
paintings, you know, that mimic what the historic significances of the building or the era of the town, and they'll start bringing in some of those.
Right.
And
Similar to the
that's
one
kind
at
of
the
neat.
tunnel. and-
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
That'd be nice.
But I think for something like this,
This is,
in the park.
this is so cool for the park, especially with the stage being right adjacent to that, and all your activities happen in there.
Yeah,
Like I said, with the equipment coming in for the kids, that would be a good spot for
Yeah.
that, you know, so, and especially have it match on both sides, that'd be kind of cool.
yeah, going
I
on.
like the stage area too, I want it in the bottom section of it.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you two gentlemen for coming out. If you want to stay for the rest of the meeting, you're more than welcome. I don't care.
Agenda.
All right.
Do we get to Z today?
Yeah, this is mine.
Okay, we'll end
Give
at
you
B.
one.
You like
Um,
this one? It's just gonna mail us one, right?
Yeah, he's going to email it to us. All right, so on the old business, the Greystone cleanup was successful. The MEAC found that someone was dumping illegally. So they're working with the borough for proper signage for that area. So we're gonna just have to, continue to monitor, everything. Yeah,
Yeah, I think they got a little bit smaller sign, the sign's a little bit.
yeah,
big.
the sign that they initially
Yeah.
thought was just too big.
Yeah.
Earth Day celebration was a huge success, and they planted a new tree at the dog park, which was very nice.
Was it one of those river birch ones?
Yeah,
Like that?
I went by today, they're not real big, but they're.
They're beautiful
Yeah.
though.
Beautiful
Yeah, I love
trees.
those trees for that.
It'll be bigger in
That's insane.
3 years.
Yeah.
They're like
Trees are
20
great.
years difference in age.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We had everything
I
out
have to
on
give
the
that one
same
some
day.
hormone
Yeah,
boosters to get up to
And then
catch
the
up.
same day we had the Robert Morris Plaza and the Philadelphia, Pennsylvania Ave. That's all taken care of, the new dirt's in place.
I also want to add, I added 2 winterberry shrubs down there this week.
Oh, you did? Oh,
And I'll be adding, I have 2 females, I'll be adding a male and possibly 2 more females to bring it up to what we originally
Right,
talked about, of
right.
having the red winterberries there for the
Okay.
winter interest as well.
Yeah,
So the 2
Thank you,
females in
thank you.
there, I have to get 1 male definitely, and possibly 4 females.
yeah. I trimmed back the rose bushes on the one side.
Yeah,
so they
looks
come
good.
match. Yeah, they were getting a little
Yeah,
out.
everything looks good, I was
Yeah.
down there putting that in this week, so.
Yeah, I think we could use a little more dirt, but I think when we go to do the block, we're gonna have dirt delivered at the same time to give us the extra that we're gonna need to raise that where it needs to be, and then put the block in, so it's coming.
and then don't forget, this coming Saturday is the Riverfront Preserve cleanup, starting at 10. If it's raining Saturday, they're doing it on Sunday, starting at 1. All right, the wall at Philadelphia and Pennsylvania Avenue, I know this is a thorn in my side, I'm sure it's for everyone.
Yeah, it looks
I
worse too.
emailed PennDOT, I haven't heard back from them yet.
PennDOT or Amtrak?
PennDOT.
PennDOT,
PennDOT put the wall in.
They put the wall in.
When they did the road.
I heard from Amtrak, and when PennDOT did the sidewalk, they did the wall also. So I don't know if PennDOT is going to fix the wall, if they're going
just-
Here's the
to.
problem.
Pushing it back and forth.
It's not PennDOT's property. So PennDOT went ahead and did something which was nice. It doesn't alleviate the rail, it doesn't,
It's our camera guy, look.
it
Jason.
doesn't alleviate the railroad's responsibility to that property. So it's no different than if, you know, I went walking by and decided I was gonna clean something up.
I just want someone to fix
That,
it.
yeah, that doesn't alleviate the railroad's responsibility to that piece of property.
It depends, you don't know,
I don't
unless you
know
have a
anything.
survey, you don't know whose property it is.
But
And
they're
that,
admitting it's their property.
But we don't
but their
know,
property may end where, at the back side of that wall, and PennDOT's right away may end where that wall is, that's why they put it up. PennDOT doesn't usually put things on somebody else's property,
without an agreement or something.
Okay, fair enough.
So,
so they're gonna play the government blame game and pointing fingers at each other
Yeah.
for a while.
The walls
How
look
hard is it
large.
really to be repairing it ourselves?
No, we can't do
we
that.
can't do that.
You can't?
I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah.
We gotta start holding these other entities
I
responsible
know,
to
I know,
keep
but it's
their,
holding us up from doing a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And people are using it as a trash can.
because it
There's
already looks like
bottles and
that.
cans behind there.
Really? Wow.
So, I'm
Do you
gonna
have it
keep
in
on it.
writing that it's a PennDOT thing? Have you sent that to PennDOT saying,
I emailed Dan Senafonte.
okay,
I'm waiting for him to get back to me.
It's Don, isn't it?
Don, sorry, not Dan, Don. So, I will keep everyone posted on that. All right, the benches at the courthouse and the senior center, I emailed the commissioners again. I said I'm getting ready to have my meeting and I'd like to go back to the committee with a plan. I heard from a few of them, not all of them, I only heard from two. And they were gonna have a representative from General Services reach out to me to develop a plan. I have yet to hear from anybody. So, as of the 19th, I haven't heard from anybody.
Is any of that grant money, is that grant money towards the physical part of the
That's
thing or
for-
programs?
That's distinctive stuff.
very
Building.
specific items like
Yeah.
air
Okay.
conditioning
It's
system?
room,
Their
HVAC.
tunnel.
Okay.
I heard.
I was just
the
curious
replacement
whether-
tunnel.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's
It's,
requested for specific things.
yeah,
Okay.
ADA door, automatic doors and stuff for the building.
Okay.
So,
Again, I'll keep everyone abreast of that situation. And the growing garden at the senior center. Yes, I just named it, the growing garden. Tina reached out to me and she included the scout leader. They want to jump on board with this, but they need some specifics.
This time we're
As
going for
to-
28 minutes.
What size beds?
I did a sketch for some
It's 60 by
Size.
29.
Okay.
professionals.
Okay.
I opened my book and says, what's this
Well,
for?
wait a minute, let me tell you something too, Debbie. 60's kind of deep. You'll never reach the center of that
Yeah,
bed.
the width of
You
a
need-
raised bed should always be 4 feet or less, because
Yeah.
that's,
You're gonna have
That's
a
the
dead
space
zone
you
down
need
the
to-
middle. You'll
Yeah.
have
She's
to
talking
climb.
feet of the overall
Overall.
Yeah,
the-
size of the bed.
Overall.
The footprint.
60 feet.
Oh,
by-
the footprint. I just
Yeah.
meant the actual
No,
beds.
that's
Oh,
the
okay,
skateboard.
No,
all right.
no,
Skate
no.
park.
Okay, you
The
said 60
actual
inches.
size
Enclosure.
of the circumference of that area.
Okay,
We didn't
sorry.
know what we were dealing with, yeah.
yeah, but beds and raised beds themselves, you do 4 foot or less, because 4 foot is deemed the space that you can reach in comfortably 2 feet from either side.
So a 4x4?
4 by 6 or 4 by 8 are typical raised bed sizes,
Just that's
Okay.
all 4x6 down in Bristol.
And
next to
then you
this.
have,
and that's what they,
It's
yeah,
60
Bristol has
feet
4 by
down
6.
by-
129.
And you have to have pathways too, remember, that are like
Between them.
ADA wide at least.
yeah, they wanted
We have to mark it off. then.
a
And
general
you gotta
size
leave an
as
area.
to how we wanted the beds.
Yeah, you gotta leave an area in the corners too, if you're gonna have rain barrels eventually in there.
Or a storage shed of some kind.
Yeah, some kind of storage little thing to put tools or whatever.
I don't want to do too many beds,
Right.
just in case.
I think Justin was right, I think it should be a pilot thing, maybe just start out with so
Right.
many of them.
Yeah.
I
And see who
agree.
gets on
Yeah.
board, you
Yeah,
know, and we go to the water access part of it.
Right.
Talk to Brenda about it, but
well,
we have to.
that's also in here, Justin did speak with the MMA and the borough manager, so I will,
I spoke with them briefly one night a few weeks ago. They both seemed to think it wouldn't be a big deal to get water back there. It'd be maybe a day's worth of labor
Okay,
and, whatever materials they need.
okay,
But John was gonna look into it further, but then I think he went on vacation,
yeah.
okay.
so I don't know.
It'd be great if they could get it as close there as we could, and then have like to have a dump where it's capped off, you know, to shut it
Yeah,
down.
yard hydrant with a lockout.
Yeah, yeah, so it can be accessed when you need it, but, I think if we can get those issues
Mm-hmm.
definitely nailed down, like I said, and then figure out how many beds you would be interested in it, because you have to get that whole plan put together, you know, so that we can't just willy-nilly go and start throwing beds.
Well,
on
the
there.
phase one of the plan was the water,
Yeah, yeah.
We had to
so,
figure out if that was possible.
So if
Yeah.
that's a definite, then like I said, we figure out the amount of the beds,
yeah.
but we don't move on that until we have a definite on the water, how we're
Yeah.
getting it in. And then we have to advertise out to see who's on board with actually doing it.
The other
Yeah.
consideration is drainage, because it puddles.
Right,
So you don't want to create more of a mosquito issue. So we
Mhm.
got to figure out if it can be graded, or what we can do to work with the puddling that happens in there.
I'd say the first thing to do is to go over there and drill a couple holes in it.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
just-
That's what I
Yeah.
said. That's
So you
what
have
I
them
was
with
saying
extra
since
deep out.
day one.
Or even just a couple large holes and put the little covers over it and let it seep into the ground.
Well,
That's what I'm.
they could just find out where it's sitting.
Mhm.
Like, if there's a puddle of water like this, but the main area is right here,
Mhm.
then you drill between the berm and the blacktop
I looked
at an
at it,
angle.
on the side that it leans to, the ground is higher than
Uh,
there, so it's not gonna have anywhere to go.
You'd have to
The water
dig maybe
sits
a
on
trench
the
or a
back
soil
side.
pipe maybe.
Yeah, and the backside is actually higher than the pavement, the grass there. So it's not gonna run, it's not gonna have anywhere to run off. You would have to
Well,
move
Unless
it.
they
you
could put
throw
a
like
pipe, if they put a pipe there and run it down to the,
Or a
there's
French
a,
drain kind of
there's
deal,
a
right?
drain there.
Is there?
They put a drain in.
Oh, okay. I'll have to go look at
Yeah,
it
there's
again.
a drain on the outside on the front corner right by the parking lot.
Oh, okay. We just gotta get it to
So
the
if we're
drain.
gonna do it, let's do it right.
Yeah, that's what
Before we
Run it
start
right to
putting-
the drain.
We might, maybe we take a little trip down, some of us, and take some pictures and look at the issues that are down there and figure out how we would take care of those and figure out the water, we definitely get in the water.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great, that's a
And
big
then-
thing.
And then kind of measure out and have an idea, this is how many we could fit in there on the beds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get an actual layout for it and say, we can fit this many, so we've got the information to go with.
Yeah.
I know a couple of seniors, when I was just down there, had asked about it, some of them are interested, I think they'd be kind of cool for them, I think they would definitely do it.
Yeah.
You know, because they're not doing it so much on the other side,
Mhm.
you know, so I think they would kind of like
And
that.
Bristol
Because some of
started
them
with
they
just a
can't-
handful also.
They
That's
did.
how they started.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
just
That's how you do it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just add them
and
as you
it
need them.
took off, and next thing you know, they needed more space.
Yep,
And now it's
that's
a
great.
beautiful big park, so
Yeah.
I think we start off with that pilot program and get it initiated, and people see that it's gonna take off, and they wanna be a part of it, then you can add those
I
extra.
think especially for the seniors, it would be nice because a lot of them, they can't,
Yeah,
you know, get down on their knees into
Right.
their gardens that they had,
right,
you know,
right,
and they still want to garden.
yeah.
And
So get
Vegetable
all the
market would be a
specifics
great
together.
little fundraiser for them once a year.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
When they
Little
do
farmer's
their,
market.
Yeah.
when they do their flea markets.
Yeah.
I think it would,
Yeah.
you know,
So I say get all those schematics that we need for it, and put that plan together, so we know where we're going, and then
Right.
make the move
I
on.
can email, I will email Tina back,
Mhm.
and I will give her the size of the fenced-in area and also the size of the beds, and just let her know that we're working on water
Okay.
accessibility and drainage.
Right.
Okay. And the Rotary Easter egg hunt was a huge success. Congratulations to the Rotary
Thank you.
for this long tradition that takes over the park.
It was the best turnout I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And the weather drove that, obviously. I
It was
mean, after the
crazy.
nasty weather and
Oh,
rain,
it
and
was
we just had that
Yeah.
perfect day for it.
It
Everyone
was a
came out.
miracle
I
day.
think
Yeah.
there's
Really
like
was.
5,000 eggs now. Isn't it
I
fun?
think there was closer to 7,000 this year.
Wow.
Yeah, with all the donations.
Wow.
And to think about when
That's some serious
I
eggs.
took it
It
over.
was
we
1,200. It was record breaking.
had- Yeah, it was 1,200, and now we're at 7,000
Wow.
eggs. I
Wow.
mean, that's huge.
And I already,
That's
I
great.
have, was it 3 full bins, like storage bins full of empty eggs, because people were, full
Wow.
of empty eggs, because people were returning them. So
Which is
next
great.
year, we literally just need the candy as the donation.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, cool, very nice.
And may I add that the Morrisville Dog Park egg hunt was very big.
Yes,
Was
I'm
it?
sorry, I
Good.
did forget to
Good.
mention that.
We only had 1,000 eggs.
Next year, Annie, bigger.
I'm sure your dog to egg ratio was better than that.
It was really cute because all the dogs had to do was sniff them or touch them with their paw. And we actually had some that were doing training. So they had to sit by the egg. Once they touched with their nose, they had to sit by the egg before the owner would pick it up. But everyone had a great time. They really enjoyed it and they're looking forward to doing it. We're looking forward to doing it.
Oh,
again
that's
next year.
fun,
That's
that's so
great.
much fun. That's great.
All right. Anything else for old business before we move on to new business?
Oh, one real quick.
Yes.
Old business, I guess the lights on the plaza.
Mm.
Just an update, I met with John Lader yesterday and an electrician who does work for the borough. His name's Carl. He took a look at the situation. He said, if you're talking like almost 15 years, I guess it's been since that was first built. The only thing he questioned was the fact that the conduits are as far away from the statue as what they are. And he said, I don't know what their idea was, if all three were supposed to go on that statue, or two onto the wall, one onto the statue. But he said, in order to put those flat lights underneath the ground so that you can walk across them, drive across them, you're not going to get the tilt that you need to aim it to hit that statue. He said, so he would have to move it in closer. So first thing he needs to do is make sure that he can get those conduits open, because through the years, you've got all kinds of residue that's gone down inside those pipes. Not that they can't blow it out, but that's what they're going to try and do, and see if they can get
Okay.
through the line. Once they know they can get through that line, then what they would have to do is he would bring the line down through the one conduit, and right at the point be the one that's, I think, to the left, and then it would have to make a turn and then head towards the statue. So some of those pavers would have to be removed.
Okay.
So now you're talking hardscape, so we'd have to have someone that does hardscaping to actually make sure that they're put back properly. So he photographed it. Before they start anything, we would photograph it to make sure all the bricks go back exactly the way they're taken out, because there's family names on them. So you want to make sure they're taken out properly, so that we can move that pipe down closer to the statue. So he's going to get all the information on the lights that will go with the clear block flat, to see what commercial leader they have that can do the tilt. He said if price-wise and what that would actually entail, will be plan one. Plan two would be right at the statue base where it's sitting up on that step up. You have all the Belgian block there, and right directly in front of that statue, there's one smaller piece of Belgian block that actually the mortar is a little bit loose on there. He said he could actually, if he needed to, take the tubing up to there, remove that one block, and then replace it with an actual light that would shine up, so you have no tripping factor whatsoever, because it would be up onto the block,
Oh, okay.
and that would shine up on the statue. He said they come in like nice brass covers on them, so that it would be buffered, from you getting viewed from the other side and straight up, and it would also tie in with the brasses on the plaque, so on the statue itself. So either way, he's going to look at both and see what he can come up with, pricing for us and information, but it definitely has to come closer to that statue. Okay. So it's going to be, and he said, and right where he would bring the line in and have to make the turn, he would want to take and put a access plate there. So that's one brick that won't go back, but there's no name sitting there or anything.
Okay.
So he would remove that and put an access plate, so if any water got in there, they had any problem they had to get in, that would be an access area to get to there to either take it to the box or to the statue if they needed to get to it. So he's given a price on that. He said the other ones that are there, he is going to just go and lift the brick, cut them lower, cap them off, because you're really not going to use them. He says why they're that far away is beyond him, but he can just, at the time, cap them and take them below ground. The other thing he mentioned, which was kind of neat, as we were heading back towards the parking lot, was on the side is the dedication plaque that Mr. Gaffney goes down and cleans all the time.
Yeah.
And he said he was surprised it didn't have a light on it. So I said, well, if you can do that, that would be great. Yeah, and there's electrical. So he said that would be an easy one. He doesn't know exactly how they built the top of that, if it's any wire meshing and stuff inside. but he's gonna run a real thin drill through there, through the mortar area to see if he can get on the other side, because it's not that wide. And if it does without any problem, he said then he can actually just put underneath where the overhang is, a light that will shine down, and the like
That
lights.
was really
But then-
nice.
Yeah,
'cause this-
so
yeah,
that
that
would
would be
light.
nice.
Nobody tell Mr. Gaffigan that.
No.
Yeah.
Nobody tell Mr. Gaffigan.
We had a long talk
He's
about
supposed
that
to
at
be
the
here
car
tonight.
show.
Yeah,
Yeah, I asked
He
him
was
to
coming
come.
here tonight.
Yes.
so
So-
it will light the.
Nobody let him know.
Light the black.
Yeah, let it be a surprise.
And he
Mr.
said,
Gaffigan's not on the Facebook page. So we're okay.
so
Nobody told Mr.
I did
Gaffigan.
tell him that, that Mr. Gaffin was one that designed and did that statue for us. He's our artist that did it.
Mhm.
And that we would like to get this finished, especially for him. He's very excited about it. And the Rotary that asked about it every, did they put the lights on? It's coming.
Every week.
Yeah, the lights are coming.
Every
He did say these lights will be done differently than the one that's on the flag. He said, because that one there's on a timer, so every time the electric goes out, one of the guys has to go down and reset the timer because it was now shining during the day and off at night, so I had to remind them to go down and change the timer. This one will be all censored, so that it will automatically come on and automatically come off, no
That's
matter
nice.
what the season is. As soon as it turns dark, it'll automatically come on.
Would it make any sense to have him give a price while he's down there to upgrade that light to the same system?
Yeah.
It's probably not a bad idea.
Just tie it right in.
Yeah, because the electric's already there. So he's gonna come back after he finds the lighting out, what type of lighting they have, commercial lighting for it, and which is the best direction to go with it. So I'm just
That's
gonna
great.
let you know. So as soon as we get the information back to Scott, then he'll let us all know. But we did have someone actually finally meet down there and take a look at it.
I'm very excited for the plaza to be completed.
It's getting there, yeah.
Yeah, we gotta complete projects, not just come close to completing them.
Yeah, this
We
one's
gotta
gonna get
actually
completed,
finish
it
them.
kills us.
Well, if we look at the way that it was
3 years ago, yeah.
Yes.
3
We
yeah,
have a lot of
3 years
catching
ago.
up to do.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
from going
True.
and
True.
pulling everything out,
Oh, yeah.
pulling out the invasive weed, getting rid of the trees
So
that were
much better.
strangling the other
A
trees.
permanent new Christmas tree.
Yes,
Yeah.
right,
Fruit,
permanent
so-
new Christmas tree to, laying new soil down and then
We're about to.
And every year
Putting-
it's getting easier because
putting-
we're
right,
getting ahead of
putting-
it.
Yeah, it's
you know,
less to do.
the sheet mulching down and laying the plants in and mulching and,
It'll be pretty.
I mean, and then getting the weeping cherry put in on the other side to
Oh, they
complement
look
it.
so pretty today.
Yeah, they're all.
I mean, to look at it now, and I have
Yeah.
pictures before, and I have pictures during when we
Yeah,
started,
it's coming along.
it really is coming along very
It is.
nicely. And those rose bushes, they're just,
Yeah, they look beautiful.
yeah,
Mr. Gaffin will surprise him when it's ready to go.
yes.
We'll get him
It's
down
almost
there.
like, you wanna get a
So-
giant drop cloth and cover the
Yeah,
whole
that's how we
area.
want him to come down
And
that
run
night
down
and
and just,
show
Now
them.
you're
unveil
out of
it.
All the
control.
lights on.
I know.
Oh, we'll just stand in front of it and we'll all just move aside.
There you go. All right, so new business. We do have a tree at the plaza that does need to be removed. Diane did meet with John and she met with him last month in regards to the tree.
Which tree?
It is if you're at the smaller weeping cherry, it's the one directly
Behind it.
behind it.
And that's borough property, that's not,
That is borough property,
Yeah,
yes.
it's the other two trees that were removed, it's the same species, and it's having the same problem that the other two trees that were removed are having.
And she
So it really
actually
needs to come
told me,
out.
because I had asked.
so that area where all the sticks are still laying, that's borough property? Or is
Yes.
that,
That whole area is borough property.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
We'll define that. Does that mean the other trees are heading towards the 7-Eleven? Is any part of that? Because we don't know
That's
all
ours.
that. All that is ours?
well, that is ours.
All the way up to like the
That
7-Eleven
whole
and
area
all the
is
grass
ours.
areas.
That whole area is ours, but we do not mow it.
Why then?
The
I'm
owner,
not that I'm complaining if someone else
no,
wants to
the
mow it.
owner of the shopping center, he has a company that comes out and.
Do they mow up to where the bed is? Okay, so then they'll be able to find the
Once-
weed whack once we put the wall in? They're gonna do that?
Yes.
Are we gonna do that?
They are, honestly, I did have a talk, they're afraid to go near.
because,
garden?
because you spoke to them.
Because I did.
You yelled at them?
I did not
Scared
yell at
to
them, no,
death.
I just
Fear
said,
of Danielle.
please, when they're weed whacking, to please be careful of the flowers. So they go close, but I think maybe they're
Well, they're about
afraid.
3 feet, not close.
Yeah, so.
Well, there's a
next
remedy
time
to that. You stand near the flowers and you weed whack away from them. You don't
Right.
approach them.
Well, I honestly think that they're afraid that they're gonna step on a plant.
They're not that close together.
Well, once the block goes
We'll-
in,
we'll
they'll
do
have
it,
to
though.
find
Right,
walls,
exactly.
so
Once the block goes in, then,
They'll
you know,
know.
they'll see.
Anything on the other side of that
Right.
block, we weed whack.
But the tree,
Or guys,
has, no, I may not be pronouncing this correctly. Lichen?
Like it?
Lichen,
Like,
but that's
That's
healthy,
natural.
that's
Lichen's
natural.
it
natural.
has lichen growing on it. She said it's not a disease, it naturally grows on
Right,
trees.
it's natural.
But what's happening is,
the last one lost all its
not all
bark.
trees have pronounced lenticels? Lenticels?
Spell it. I'm just wondering.
It's sick, it's a sick tree.
Okay, it's a citron.
That's all I'm
What
gonna say.
She says
Sick.
what it's trying to do is it's trying to compete with the larger trees. And she says it was planted too close
Yeah,
to the other trees.
yeah, you can see that, the bird.
And it's not thriving as it should be. So she did suggest and tell John that that one does need to come down.
And that was
I
not
also think it
terribly
might
big.
have some blight because the other two trees, the bark actually was splitting and it had some kind of blight or disease.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
I think
there's a lot of
it's, I
bark.
think this is also what's happening with this.
Mhm.
So,
So they're gonna take care of taking that down before?
Uh,
the
I'm
block
going
next
to
month?
include that in my phone call with Scott. But she did say that that one does need to come down.
Okay.
Okay, I emailed her today and she says yes, she says that it's just not where the tree is supposed to be at this point. So, okay. Any other questions about that?
No. that's
Okay. Now, on debate, a resident had reached out to the borough, they wanted to, their mother lived across the street from the park, and her mother had passed on, and they wanted to put a memorial tree in the park. So I reached out to Debbie Colgan with the EAC, and I told her I would like to work together and possibly find an area for this memorial tree. They would purchase the tree, they would get the tree, the woman's husband is a landscaper.
Oh my goodness!
Sorry. They would also help maintain the tree.
Could have been worse.
Litter the tree.
Edit.
Target score.
So Debbie reached out to the family. They are interested actually in purchasing more than one tree. So, and
Maybe I need a.
they're working
Oh,
side by
Suzuka!
side with Debbie, and
Ba, ba,
Debbie's
ba,
keeping
ba,
me
ba, ba,
informed
ba.
as to what it is that we're going to need to do and where they want to have it.
Whenever you touch the eyes.
Okay, so, just so everybody's aware, there may be a couple new trees coming down into the park. All right, and then of course we met Tim,
Oh, no, Chase, don't do that.
So we go to the.
and then we need a date for the pavers. Last but not least, we already spoke about the lights, but we need a date to be picked to install pavers.
Okay. So what's coming up in May? Anybody got vacations coming up in May?
We have a dog park cocktail party coming up in May.
Yeah.
That's May 19th.
And on the 20th is the community day at in Reedy in high school for the Bird Town.
Okay.
Color run.
Oh, is it the color run that day?
The 15th, 17th.
And then the 28th is Memorial Day.
Yeah, so the 26th, 27th, people are gonna be gone away, so you're gonna either have to be the first 2 weekends of May, which is coming up quick, or you're gonna take it into the first week of June.
Do we want to take it into the first week of June, only because we have to get the tree taken down?
Yeah, I think it makes more sense to
Do it in June, first week of June?
And just so you know, also, the dog park fountains are, we're waiting for a plumber to come next week to
I
take
saw
care of
that.
Okay.
Do we know what's wrong with the fountains?
They're leaking, both of them, so we're not sure exactly. But we have a plumber, the FMDP has a plumber coming.
Chase, don't move it.
Well, that'll give us time to measure that off, I guess, and figure out how much of the block that we're going to need. Justin said he might be able to get a bigger truck, someone to help us. We're gonna need at least 2 or 3 trucks, because I don't know. You said, they can deliver, the one up on US 1, they can deliver on a weekend or not?
I have to recheck with them, because it's been a while since I've talked to them. I know they're able to deliver, I'm not sure if on weekend or not, I have to check.
Okay, because if not, then we'd have to figure out, I can get my son's truck, he's got an extended cab on his, but you're gonna need, that's a lot of weight, so.
Well, what if we had them,
A trailer?
we just have them deliver it here to the parking lot? It's close enough that we can run back 5 times the trucks to.
Deliver here?
Yeah, because they're under video, nobody should steal them in a day or 2.
That's true.
Just throw a tarp over it.
Then we can have them put in, where are we? We can have them put out here in the
I don't
corner,
want to use my gun.
It's up to you.
right in front of the police store, in that last spot.
And
So
then what?
then it could be delivered during a weekday.
Yeah.
I just showed one
And then
of
we
the
can
trucks.
come out and get it, you know, and do it on a Saturday.
All right, let's do it like that, as long as the guys are
Because
willing
then-
to haul them back on it.
Then that'll give us time so that that morning I can go and get the trencher from Home Depot.
I was looking at the post cement, because I talked to John Espamani, that does cement work, and he said because of the freezing and the thawing on a hill like that, he doesn't recommend doing the cementing in between. It
Just
might-
laying it in a bed of cement.
Yeah, the stuff that they use when they did mine at home, I have the same Belgian block, they, after they dug the trench, they put a quick set post cement powder on the bottom, and then they wet it and they set the stones down into it, and it sets up pretty quick. Yeah, now on mine, they came back later though, and then they did in between, and mine has never moved.
Yours is only 2 years old though.
Right. But we do have a lot of water that runs down off that hill, so I'm surprised it has stayed exactly where they put it. But he's probably right about that, so if we at least, I think, do the cement on the bottom to fasten it, and then he said then you want to backfill the dirt in on both sides to pack that in. And then it gives that expansion for thawing and stuff like
And
that.
then
So-
once we get the pavers in, at that point, that's when we're gonna need to go back in, lay down, another layer of sheet mulching,
So
and
there's
then
a clean
get,
up this
Right, we'll do it at
mess.
that point.
The
So,
Ultrazuka.
I think back then, it was somewhere around $400
What?
for what we estimated. So if we get a better idea of what that is, we'll find out the price, but the money is still set aside, so we have that. If we can figure out how much the footage we're gonna need for the quick set cement, I'll pick up the cement. I just have to know how many bags, so I'm not gonna estimate that on the quick set cement on
Oh
that.
God,
So I think that's all we're gonna need, is just the labor, the
and
cement,
making more messes.
and the
yeah, the trencher,
trencher thing
Make sure you
too.
reserve that ahead of weekends, they go fast.
yeah.
You're not gonna need, it probably only rental about an hour or so.
Oh, yeah, we'll need it long,
Yeah.
but just make
Yeah.
sure that,
And then once I
you're the
saw-
first one or something, and you don't have to wait for
Oh,
somebody to return it.
Yeah,
And we know dirt can be delivered, we had Garrett do it on
Yeah.
the weekend, so we're definitely gonna have to need some extra dirt for backfill, so. 1 yard was not much, I was surprised, so it's probably gonna take 2 yards of dirt to backfill. You're gonna have some from when you trench it, but you're gonna have dirt definitely to build that
because
up.
then possibly the following week is when we'll have to go back in and do, the sheet mulching and lay the mulching down.
Yeah, you can
Because
either,
I think that's gonna be a long day.
oh, yeah, it's
You
just
know?
a block that day. You're gonna
Yeah.
get just a block in, you're gonna want to set dry really well, and then come back, it could be even the following month, you're gonna throw the mulch
Yeah.
in there, but I would do it then the first week of June, we'll shoot for that.
Okay, so do we wanna do,
Third. Second.
because then remember, we're
This-
leaving. We have the conference
When do we leave?
That's the 10th, 11th.
the following weekend.
Back the 13th.
Oh, is this when we go? Okay, the week before, okay, then it'd be the second or third then,
Yeah,
okay,
so do we wanna shoot for June 2nd?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I'm following the work.
Okay. And then, something I didn't add, but I'm going to add, there's a, Diane had asked, Diane Mules is our arborist,
Yeah, don't ask me to say that.
arborist,
That's it.
thank you.
That too.
She did ask if there was a possibility where we can move our meetings from a Wednesday to possibly a Tuesday or a Thursday.
She should become.
So she could come Wednesdays, the very last Wednesday of the month is school board meetings.
Okay.
So that's why she's not able to make it, and she really wants to make these meetings because she wants to do more.
Yeah, you have to re-advertise, because they're
That's
advertised
the
at the beginning of
thing.
the year. She have to cancel the other ones and re-advertise for the new one.
So,
Quick thing though, Justin, with the cocktail party, does Summer Seat need a little last minute sprucing up?
That's, I'm trying to find out. My understanding is that they were in communication with Martha Washington Garden Club, and the garden club is to come in and clean up and redo the gardens there.
Nice.
But we don't know yet what the time frame of that is, so I'm working on finding that out. Plus, they currently have scaffolding and the shutters down.
Yeah.
So we're hoping that will be taken care of by the time of the cocktail party.
I'm just saying if we went in there and did a quick weeding or something.
We do need to do a quick weeding and a weeding on the driveway before the party.
Yeah.
a lot of sheet mulching down there.
When you have the amount of stuff that was growing in there,
It'll come right
and
through.
the age of some of those weeds,
Yeah.
even with sheet mulching, you're going
It's
to
hard.
have
It's taken
things
over.
coming
Have
back.
all the down there, never get rid of it.
So it does need a cleanup.
Okay.
I can see if I can get hold of someone tomorrow. I've been trying to get hold of someone.
Do you want me to call Karen?
Kane?
Mm-hmm.
If you want to ask from that end, I will ask from the Martha Washington Garden Club end.
Yeah, even if we just had a little quick flash
Right.
mob that went out there and
And that's what I
ripped out
think.
weeds.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and clean up the driveway and things like that, because, yes, the cocktail party's coming on the 19th, and
Okay.
it'll be a wonderful event as usual, and we'd like it to look
And
nice.
this time the building will be down, so that's a plus.
Yeah.
That's a plus when we look at the
Okay.
building.
All right, I'll call Karen Kane tomorrow. All right, so back to, we want to change.
Yeah, I think about that. Is it that
I know,
important to her
'cause-
this year? Otherwise, just change the meetings up next year. You don't meet in November, you don't meet in December because of the holidays. We always advertise it if we actually need it, but we cancel them out. Sometimes during the summer, if we go on vacation, we might cancel one of those
Yeah.
meetings out. So how many are left? You're
And I
gonna
think
change
we
that.
skip one in August too, I think.
Because of it, yeah, put people on vacation, so
Yeah,
try and
it's
get as
just
much as
taking
we can. Yeah, yeah, there's not a lot you're doing outside of water, you know,
Yeah.
so. There might not be that many more meetings after we get the block and this kind of stuff put in,
Yeah.
you know, so. Talk to her about it,
All right,
otherwise
so
next year we
think
can
about it.
change
She
it
can
next
always
year.
send notes to you and stuff and,
Yeah.
and until we get through this time
But
period.
if, you know, for next year,
Yeah, just make sure you're getting it to Virginia ahead of time, because if
Well, yeah.
we vote those schedules like in December.
well, I wanted to talk,
So,
you know, to the rest of
yeah.
the committee and
Yeah.
say, you know, are you guys okay if we,
Yeah.
I know, come next year, change the date
Yeah,
to,
I don't
you know,
see why we
either
can't do that.
the middle Wednesday or the first Wednesday or the last Tuesday or something like that.
Mhm.
Just,
It's tough to say. I mean,
I know,
Yeah.
we have other committees that you got to deal with, you've got
I know.
other things people are involved in.
Well, we're small enough, we can meet in that downstairs room too.
No, but I mean, what do we have? 3 other committee meetings a month, plus or
Or-
minus,
You
plus
guys are
2
busy.
council meetings.
Yeah.
Plus your own private, you know,
Yeah.
personal committees that you're on.
I'm not saying,
Well,
well,
we
I'm
have
just
to have
saying,
lives.
Oh, no.
That's all.
we found a date that works. It
Yeah.
stinks
I
it
know.
doesn't work for her, but
Yeah,
if we go and change it to go for her, we might alienate somebody else.
I know.
and you might need to be at 2 committees at the
Well,
same
let us
time.
take a
too,
look at all
depending on
the
who's-
schedule, we did cut
She
committees
did ask
down,
that
we have less
you know, if I
committees
can bring it up to everybody,
Yeah.
so I brought it up.
May I
Yeah,
ask a
it's-
question? Has there been any talk about painting of the light fixtures downtown or?
He did, what did John say about that? They said they were gonna do
Spray
that.
paint it or
He
something,
said
didn't he?
something about getting paint.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
supposed,
he
they
said
did go
something
down
about
and take a look at that, and John said they were supposed to do something with
Because
that.
even the balls on top are,
Yeah.
are the paint strip.
You know what,
The ones
maybe
that
let's
have
just say something, he
all
did
hardware.
mention